This is the 22nd season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. Back in the studio for like a day and a half. Just got back from the Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic. You guys have heard about it for the past 3 months. I greatly appreciate all of the support from BTL. We did over $4,000 with the Fishing Chaos online tournament that was directly donated to St. Jude. Over $5,100 in BTL Bass Fishing Saves Lives t-shirts, and the team of Adam Bartuzik and I were over $30,000. Big part of that for the BTL community through direct donations. I gave Charlie Hartley a shout out last time he was at the Grand Lake. He just walked up and had a check for St. Jude and handed it to me. He would never publicly say that, but I thought that was, he goes, "I got something for you." He said, "It's not that exciting." And when he handed it, I said, "That's exceptionally exciting." So this tournament, 100 boats raised over $1.35 million. They hit the $10 million mark. Miles Berghoff, his wife Katie, daughter Riley, you know him. Berghoff's pretty much fished on everything but the Elite Series so far. He's on the pro circuit now. They were the keynote speakers. She had, I think, neuroblastoma, was at St. Jude for 8 months and is now a very active toddler running around there. But really good tournament. 100 boat max field. Skeeter Yamaha gave away a boat at that, $25,000 for the winner, but it took a hair, like 22 and a half a day, 6 fish limit to win that. I fished with Adam Bartuzik. We ended up finishing 29th. We had 17 and a half each day. Really finicky fish. I think we had a mixed bag of largemouth and smallmouth. And we caught some in seams. We caught some using perspective off beds. We caught some flipping backwater areas, but I think this was pretty much a largemouth dominated event. And then I'm home for a day and a half. Mark Jeffries just sent me the booking for the cottage that we're staying at Table Rock Lake. We are practicing Thursday and Friday for the Pro Guide Hope Classic, kind of a piggybacking event with Paige Schumacher and Pro Guide Batteries. They've already reached their goals, over $50,000 for St. Jude, and it's a one-day event on Table Rock. Now, here's the thing. I will 100% be recording with Mark Jeffries, and we will be going live Thursday and Friday during practice. There's a chance that you will have live footage of me on Table Rock Lake throwing a Carolina rig. So don't miss that. Turn on your notifications, bells, whatever. I have no idea what time we're going live, but I got the tripod, I got the camera stuff, and this is another event to raise money for St. Jude. But been a couple years since I've been in the boat with Mark Jeffries. Looking forward to getting back into that. Before we get to today's guest, we did have some hot on the water action this past week. The Bass Pro Tour returned to probably when I think of FLW, I think of Beaver Lake, Shaky Heads, the Walmart FLW tour where they had everybody packed in. Beaver Lake was an annual stop, and for the first time in a long time, a professional tournament trail, one of the top levels, returned to Beaver Lake in Rogers, Arkansas. Cole Floyd gets the W in that event in the championship round. 24 Beaver Lake bass, 56 pounds, narrowly edges Wesley Strader. You had Bank Shaw that was back in the top 10 with the third place. And then you want to talk about the angler of the year, Zach Burge trying to hold off Jacob Wheeler, trying to hold off Drew Gill. So as they come down the home stretch for the Bass Pro Tour, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Also, a no scope Bassmaster Open on Lake Norman. And while we were while I was up in Minnesota, it was cool to kind of watch that coverage and watch the bass track. I know our guest today, Darold Gleason's lovely bride. I don't know how much Darold is big into putting fish in bass track, but that man, he updates his bass track with regularity, and he was at the top of the leaderboard the majority of the week. Ended up coming out of that with the top 10, but some really cool stuff happened during that tournament. And Darold is on his way to the EQ, so we'll bring Mr. Gleason in live from the home, which is the RV. Look at that. You must have some really good stainless steel cleaner, because I know I've got a stainless steel fridge at my house, and the hardest thing to do is to keep the handprints and markings off of that. And if I look at the all the stainless steel appliances behind, gleaming and shining with perfection in the background, Darold.
I use the same product on my hair and mustache as she uses on that to keep it shiny. So
it is. No, that is very impressive. So congratulations to two good Bassmaster Opens in a row. And it's been a while since have you led one since your win, or was this the first time that you got off the water leading?
I led Neely Henry the year you made a top 10 at 2020. Yeah. I led day one. And then
wait, didn't you catch 2 on 1 cast in that tournament as well?
There's something about that. You know what I mean? Yep. I caught 2 on a little 1/4 ounce rattle trap bait back in the day. Yeah. 2 spots. And look, first cast in this derby on a Strike King Sexy Dog, 2 spotted bass, a 3-pounder and a 2.5. Did not realize I had 2 on there until I went to swing them in. I was like, oh, Lord. And they got in. So, yeah, maybe that's the thing. I need to figure out how to catch 2, and then I can go on like a little hot run.
So what was the vibe going into the Open at Norman? Did you think it would be tough? Did you know you'd be able to catch a limit? Because there's bad juju that some would say catching a fish on your first cast, and you caught 2. And both of those fish made it to the weigh-in, correct?
I actually called the smaller one. That's how good the day was. I called a 2.5 pounder. And I thought going into after practice that a bunch of 2.5 pounders would be lovely to have. Kind of a grinder type lake. First time ever going there, especially with no scope. The water was low. It was super, super clear. And let's see if everyone can understand what I'm going to say. Everything in the lake was having sex at the same time. While there was still it was still hard to find the shad spawn. Like we pushed our takeoff back to 7 because of the low water and the lack of boat ramps to get in. So we were missing some of the top water bite and some of the herring and shad spawn and all that stuff. And there was a few bass spawning still. So is that, it's like a May tournament, late April. It was a very a funk going on. And but that's kind of cool. To me, it's kind of a grinder lake. It's kind of like Grand in the fact it's like not super easy to get bites. So like you just target big ones and hope it works out, But both of those events, being non-scope, were kind of grinders for most of us or whatever to get bites. But fun, good time.
I've been thinking a lot about this. I had 20 plus hours of drive time after Grand, and I'm only fishing the one division, and Grand was the first no scope. I still have the little orange buoy thing on my scope plug-in, and I recently spent time on the water with Randy on Table Rock, Randy Blockett, which was interesting. But I thought it was very interesting after having gotten into this game, covered it, fished with it so many years, and then being so scope friendly or invested in it, learning it, the learning process, and then turning it off. Granted, in a event that was very conducive, that Grand Lake one, very conducive to not having it. You're talking about during the spawn. We're headed to Kentucky Lake here in a couple weeks. We'll get to use it this tournament at Table Rock. I'll have it back on, but I was shocked at how easily or how quickly it got out of my head. Like it was maybe an hour or 2 into practice when I realized I was going around a dock and I was still pointing my trolling motor head towards where I was casting. But I wasn't seeing anything because I had the cover on my graph. I had the unit disconnected, but I was shocked at how quickly my mind reverted back to pre-scope. Have you discovered that as well? Because I know we've had a lot of discussions behind the scenes about changing our fishing styles over the last 5 years to accommodate it.
Right. Yeah. And that's something I've been trying to tackle that, like when something new comes along, I want to try to learn it the best I can. So I've tried to, I go the route of trying to take on those big, tall tasks of trying to compete with that. So I can tell you one little thing I did that helped me is I put the Garmin Spy Pole, which is like a 360 type deal. I put that on there. Mentally, it gave me something to kind of look at. And I'd already fished a non-scope event this year at Kissimmee. And I actually used side scan on my trolling motor for the first time in my career. I've never used side scan on the front, but again, it was just something to occasionally kind of look at and take away that fear of fishing in the blind, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so I tried to hold reserve judgment on stuff like when Bass made the rule, let's do the 50-50, some without, some with. I didn't really know, you know, like, would I be thrilled about it, whatever. But I feel like this year I'm doing a better job of just like mentally, let's roll the punches, let's see how it feels, let's go. But I'm kind of digging it, man. It's kind of refreshing. So it's making it where, like, and I don't want to say the young guys, but anyone who's just really good at scope, that's like a bullet you can carry around and kind of kick some butt with just about everywhere, every situation. That's a strong bullet to have. And it's kind of fun now to see everyone having to be diverse. And dude, I actually think it's cool. There was at weigh-in, there was a Norman in the top 10. There was a young guy, 19 years old, in front of me. We chatted for quite a while. There he is in the top 10 with no scope.
I think the scope goat had a good derb there.
I think he got a check as well too.
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of fun. I don't think anyone really knows how to traverse this phase of the fishing industry, so you just kind of roll with it. But I'm enjoying it. I think it's fun. It's kind of evening it out for everybody. It's giving the old guys, hopefully they all feel like they can be competitive and all those kind of things. But still, you know, to me, for like a lot of the young guys, it's forcing them to break that stigma. That's all they're good at, and they're getting to show, hey, I can fish and I'm good at all the other stuff. So I'm enjoying it so far.
I shockingly love it.
I know you would.
I'm mentally conflicted over it, but I enjoyed the hell out of picking something up and knowing that I'm going to be grinding this for the next 6 hours, and I really liked it. Now, was it a little frustrating, like, you know, slow rolling a spinnerbait or a swim bait around a dock and not knowing what was under it, or if I should make 5 or 6 skips behind it, but I like this. I like the 50-50 for the whole tournament. Like, I like it too. Where you go into it. I think it might be the deal, Darold.
I think it might be because you know, in the past, let's say if we went to Grand and I'm throwing a spinnerbait and it's a scope event, that like 1 or 2 hour lull, which you know you're going to have, instead of thinking about your next cast and how to catch one, in the past for me, I would be thinking, oh, someone's somewhere smashing them on a minnow, you know. That's not in your head, so it's back to just focus on the fishing. Like, it had been a long time since I threw a spinnerbait up on the bank and watched the blades just under surface and watch them disappear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I won my first club tournament way back in the day, like 07 or 08, literally doing that technique. And so for that to still be relevant and fun in the sport, but I'm thinking it's the deal too, because we got to sell spinnerbaits and we got to sell other things.
I spent so much money on spinnerbaits.
I did too. You wouldn't believe the bait pile I had in my boat. So I ended up with a Marshall on the final day over at Norman, and I luckily, really cool dude, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a band. He's British. Like, I mean, our first sentence, he says, "Yeah,
nice pass, Darold.
I'm just a wanker and I love fishing." And I'm like, holy crap, we're going to have a day. But luckily he wore boots, because the bait pile, which I'm carrying around on my floor right now, I have like 200 pounds of spinnerbaits in the floor and topwaters and stuff. And I'm scared to move anything because I don't want to mess the mojo up in my boat right now. But
yeah,
no, dude, I'm enjoying it. I actually do think it's good for the industry. It allows us to talk about, as anglers, like to talk about spinnerbaits and talk about rage bugs and some of the other things that we use. Now, with that said, dude, I do love live scope, and I love throwing the minnows and all the
so do I.
stuff.
I'm looking forward to Kentucky.
And I love my Garmin live scope. I love using it. I'm putting it back on today so I can start playing with it some to prepare for Kentucky Lake. But I do think it so far feels to me like a good balance. It does. It
is. I think the only thing they have to figure out is which are scope and which aren't scope, and why and how. But I think, and I'll call it an experiment. And this is my first kind of taste of the experiment.
Right.
I really, really, really like it.
Yeah,
I did not think I would say that. I'm not saying it's like a change. Like, I still am all in on scoping on that. But
if I can turn it on, I'm utilizing it. Period. If my competitors can use it, I'm using it.
I think it quiets the mind.
It does, but And I tell you something else. I feel like I've grown in the last few years, like with what I've been through, the ups and downs of this sport. I think I'm a better person for having gone through some of the lows that I went through. Now, when you're going through them, it doesn't feel like it. You don't know how you're going to come out of it. But I feel like I'm a better person. I'm better prepared. And another thing I've really tried to do is I don't spend a lot of time on the phone. And you know this, Matt, in the industry. A lot of the guys, we spend a lot of chit-chat time discussing, whether it's rules or what's going on in the sport or what. And it's not always a positive vibe. It often is. We go down negative, just a little wine fest, whatever you want to call them. And I've been a victim of doing that for a lot, and I'm sure in the future I will. But I've cut that out a lot, like with all this stuff here with the rules. Like, I'm just really trying to like get back to that roll with it state of like, I'm doing this because it's hard. Like, I could have stayed at Toledo Bend and Rayburn and guided and done team tournaments and all that here, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I started chasing all this around the country because of the how hard it is, the thrill of it. And I know it sounds sick. It's really hard and you get your butt kicked. But just trying to like test your mettle at these other lakes against all these great anglers. That's really what it's about. And what I initially in my career, what I really focused on, because I started around Toledo Bend and Rayburn, and the boys around here, they don't give you any slack. You get thrown in the fire pretty quick, right? So I really fell in love with the process, all the practice time and all the learning and trying to learn new techniques. Like, the BP comment about living in, you're either winning or learning, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I learned a lot because I get my tail kicked. But there for a while, I got so focused on trying to be successful. I was an older pro when I qualified for the elites. But I was so focused on like trying to like push that to like be where I wanted it to be that I kind of got away from that love of the process. And honestly, I think the majority of the anglers that fish, whether it's on the opens or whatever, I think the majority of us fall out of the 1%er category. So we gotta find what we love about it. And that's what I love. It's the process.
Some would say that 99% fall out of the 1% category.
Yeah, if you're going to do that math. But I think there's a 1% group, and then there's another, I don't know, 5 or 6% group who are just freaking fish catchers like crazy. Mm-hmm. So anyways, like I'm back loving the process, and I understand for me to get, if I ever do make it back to the elites, which, who knows, it's such a long, hard shot, but for me to get where I want to get in this whole sport, I have to go through this stuff. Like I understood at Grand, like it was not a good practice. Bites were hard to come by for me. It's not my style of fishing. That's my biggest hurdle. I feel like I have lots of things that I consider weaknesses in fishing, and dirty water, high dirty water is one of them. And I just have an understanding right now mentally, and I hope I can stay in the state of, for me to do what I want to do in the sport and be where I would like to be one day. I have to do this stuff. I got to get through these hurdles. And so when you look at it like that and just brace the challenge, it's a lot of fun, dude. It's what made me love the sport to begin with.
I think this sport is really easy to compare yourself to because you hear about the winners and you hear about the guys catching, and then every time you get on social media, it's someone holding a big one or showing off a Bubba scale with a 40-pound bag. You posted something on Instagram yesterday, and I want to read it to you, and I thought that it really resonated. And it's, you and you're in the bag line. You got Koya next to you, and a bunch of the open guys, and it said every circuit has its own vibe. The opens is one of constantly pursuing, steeped with possibility, a field of all circuits, BPT, elite, pro circuit, college, etc., and add to the mix local hands who can throw themselves into derbies at their home lakes. Everyone here is chasing the dream. Somehow I have landed in a spot where I've heard Mr. in front of my name more often than not, or I'm referred to as Uncle D. Not sure how that has happened so quickly, but in this culture of chasing the dream, I sure hope these guys know that they are, in fact, already living it. What a dream to be exhausted from chasing bass, working for outdoor partners and sponsors while in pursuit of your great passion. I thought that was a very deep statement. Yes. For a guy, instead of just saying, hey, another great tournament, top 10, disappointed at how it didn't work out. But that's a deeper understanding.
Okay. So I always do try to be real, and that's why I like my last Elite Series stage. I couldn't speak on stage because I was tore up. Right? It's unfair for us to act like leading day one at Norman. I mean, I had to come in early because I was tripping out so much. Like with an hour to go, I had to cut my radio on because I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I needed to like clear my head. So, man, we're all blessed to be doing this, right? And this is all a choice. No one ever told me, hey, jump in the boat and go run around and do this. So it's unfair to play the cool thing, I think, sometimes on social media and be like, yep, another great derb. You know, I mean, I'm aware. I hadn't made a top 10 in 6 years in the Opens. So when you do it, it's special.
Really?
6 years. The year I qualified in 20, I made
Holy cow, 10. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And I've had a few good events and had some opportunities, but it had been a while. And so, dude, you're supposed to enjoy your high ones. And I don't mean that like in an arrogant way, but I just feel like I am in a spot where I'm very appreciative of this moment of which I'm in. Because when you look around a top 10 and you see someone like Kyoya from another country who is so dominant with live scope, and again, we're in a non-live scope event, and here he is in second place going to the last day. And a 19-year-old kid on my other side. And then really that event was the North Carolina, South Carolina showdown, man. The whole crowd was there for all them guys. You know, I actually thought that me and Kyoyo might get booed because there were so many fans there chewing all their local boys, and which is a great thing, man. That's awesome. They have such a great fishing culture in that part of the world. But no, like I'm just very appreciative for the moment of which I'm in right now. And I can honestly say when I made the elites and through my time on the elites, I didn't feel that way. I was so caught up with points chasing and trying to keep that dream alive that I really just like lost perspective of some of those moments. And you don't realize it while it's happening, obviously, but that's something I reflected back on. It was not the most fun time in my life, and it should have been. I don't have a care in the world, dude. I'm in my mid-40s now, and I'm still getting to do something that I love. I've done the Opens for 16 years now. And, I mean, that's actually not something to be proud of. You want to go fish the Opens a year or two, qualify, and move on and never go back. But, dude.
This is my sixth.
It's and you get it, dude. Like you said, there's so much stuff. You see all the 10-pounders and 40-pound stringers and all the made another, you know, strong top 10 this week or what, all that stuff on social media. It kind of dumbs down how we all truly feel. And I do think more people feel aligned with how we feel about it. You know, they just, everyone's trying to play that star on social media sometimes. And I don't know, my advice to the young guys, dude, is just be yourself with that stuff. Like you don't have to make it's okay to be excited when you catch them. It's okay to be heartbroken when you don't catch them. You know, it's okay to be yourself and be real. Like, I think in the long run, your friends, family, fans, like everyone's going to appreciate that more. You're going to be more relatable by being real. And so I'm kind of an emotional dude. So when I like look at all those pictures and reflect on the week, I appreciate it for what it is, man. You don't know how many more top 10s you'll get in your career.
One of the things that I liked about that post was and I don't think there's enough. It is called the Bassmaster Opens, and there's talk of should you let Elite Series guys in? Should you let the locals in or what? And I've always been a proponent of if you're going to call it the Bassmaster Opens, anybody with an entry fee and a rod and a reel and the desire to do it with a fair and level playing field should be allowed into that tournament.
Yeah.
Like I want Jacob Wheeler to jump into it. I want a local hammer who's won the last three. I want the guy and I want the Opens guys who are trying to become, and I was thinking, you know, I'm getting reflective too now, you know, now that we're over 40 there, Daryl, but like, just, I'm kind of in a weird, not weird in a good way, but kind of the house that I'm in for these Opens is, you know, Josh Giraldi, who's from Canada, who is literally busting his ass to come down with the 4-year process. These are his first 2 Opens. And he was on the show, you know, before Grand. And his victories are different than, like, I guess your victories, like top hundreds, understanding the bites, coming with a limit, learning the process, taking your lumps, leaving, knowing that he's looking as an investing money, not wasting money for it. Then Matt Steffen, who I'm rooming with, has tour level wins, was on the BPT, is a tackle owner company, like it. And then on the other side, you've got Blake, who Blake Schroeder runs his own company, has won multiple BFLs, good hammering it. And then in this next one, we're rooming with Jason Bonds too, who's kind of like, with Todd Castledine and that, like one of those local hammers. He's been there, he's done that. He's all around it and knows how to catch it. But it's just such an eclectic mix of guys that are all and they all have their own goals, and winning is different for everybody. It's not just on that scoreboard. That's hard to explain to guys who are kind of looking at it from the outside in, that there's all sorts of different levels of victory.
There is, like, it's a big melting pot now. Like the Opens have always been like I call it the Dreamers League. All of us with the dream of the Classic and the Elites and all of those wild things, but it's kind of become a big melting pot, and it's fine. And I love that there's so many young guys that want to do this sport right now. So I hope some of the 50-50 stuff and some of the other
things. I got in the boat with Wyatt Burkhalter the day after he won the Open. And
dude, that's a grinder. I was so proud to see him win.
It came out of nowhere for him. Like he had a couple bites. It was unbelievable to get in the boat. And that dude was.
He was in the top 10 with us at Neely Henry as well.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him that was a grinder event. Yeah. It was cool. And like the guy that won this week at North Carolina, dude, it's cool. Like when he got on stage and started talking and his voice cracked up some, I turned to my wife and said, I'm a fan of that guy. I'd never met him in my life. But
Cole Huskins, 47-14.
I spoke to him on stage just for a second. I was walking off. I said, I hope it's your day or whatever. But yeah, when he had family and friends there and all that, I've had that moment on stage where there's so much you want to say and you can't get it out because of the emotions. But that's what this sport's about, dude. It's a passion-fueled sport. And if you don't have the passion in you, you won't make it. And especially when you go through some of the lows like what I went through and stuff. So, I just hope guys can get back to that mentality of we're doing this, it's competition, it's fun and all that stuff. Like we all try to beat each other's brains in, but still celebrate each other's moments as we're all traversing this. Like your buddy Josh, he's going through the process. That's when I first started fishing, it was let's try to get a limit, let's learn some at that lake, and it's fun to see it all, dude. And I'm just appreciative I'm back to not just fishing well and having good events, but mentally just enjoying the process and the grind of it all, man. Like it's a thrill. I love it. I do.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to get into kind of what I did the thumbnail and the title for, which is the flow state, when you're making good decisions, when everything seems easy. And it doesn't matter whether you're fun fishing, you're at the club level, you're at a BFL level, you're Opens, your Elite Series. Now we'll take out the KVDs, we'll take out the Wheelers, we'll take out the Bank Shaws at this point in time. We'll talk about the common man, who oftentimes we find it to be a struggle on the water, but you have those moments, and it could be an hour, it could be a day, it could be a month. I've had talk to guys who have had it for a season, where it just comes easy, where it just seems like every decision you make, there's no angst, turmoil, or pressure to it. You don't know how, where, why, or when, but you're going to catch them. You go from fishery to fishery. You land on the fish. Rick Clunn has talked about it. It's that whole Zen thing, but I feel like you're kind of in a little bit of one of those states now. And then you also have, if you talk about it, then you're consciously aware of it. And then are you going to get out of it for it? But I just kind of want to have that conversation, because I think that's a super interesting conversation. What keeps so many of us kind of chasing it, kind of loving the sport. Cause let's be honest, if you are a figure skater and you don't know how to figure skate, you can't get into a flow state because you don't know how to skate. If you can't play tennis, if you can't hit a golf ball, fishing is one of those weird things where there's a lot of us with a set of skills. Now, granted, you have different level of those skills, but once you reach a certain set of skills, your decision-making process becomes one of your most powerful skills. Yeah. You don't have to be the best caster. You don't have to be the best boat driver. You don't have to be the best whatever it is at it like you do in a stick and ball sport. You can use your brain and your decision making to compensate for the fact that you can't skip 95 feet under a dock like an Andy Montgomery can on that. So we're going to chat about that when we come back. It's a rare in studio, 8:30 a.m. Central Time, May 5th show, BTL, with Darold Gleason, fresh off a top 10 in the Bassmaster Open. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, This new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Before there were hashtags, there were handshakes and shared stories. They gave us confidence to make our first cast and chase our dreams. They taught us to fish, and in the process, taught us about life. They taught us that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about lifting others up. The future isn't just about selling tackle. It's about 3 simple words. Let's go fishing. Here's to the original influencers.
When I'm in a tournament, conditions are constantly changing and every second matters. With the Deep Dive app, I can instantly pull up all the current lake conditions all in one spot. So no more looking at weird government websites. In just one quick glance, I have water clarity, water level, wave forecast. It's all right there in the Deep Dive app. Download the Deep Dive app and get all the tools you need to put together an awesome tournament.
All right, welcome back, BTL, on a Tuesday, talking with Darold Gleason. Let's get into some weird hippie flow state stuff.
Oh yeah, let's go.
This is why I want to talk to you about it. So, last year. I vividly remember thinking, great, we only had 5 tournament days last year with 2 one-day tournaments and a 2-dayer. But I remember several times over the course of the season going, "Oh, I'm so screwed." And I knew it would be a 1-dayer or a 2-dayer, but like at 11. The positivity wasn't there. There was angst in my fishing. I was put and it sucked. I finished like 100th in the points. This year, if you look at it, not a great season. I finished 73rd at Toledo. I finished 46th at Grand. I'm in the mid 30s in the Angler of the Year points. But all 4 days of the Opens this year, I have had very subpar to mediocre bags past 1 o'clock in the afternoon with a 2:45 to 4 o'clock check-in.
Yeah.
And all 4 days, and I have it on I've been videotaping this year for the first time in 3 years, which actually helps me because I kind of talk some things out.
Right.
I have never had the, oh my God, I'm going to have to wait another year to have a shot at this or to do it. I have had the, man, I wish I hadn't put myself in the position where now I have to make it happen in the last couple hours. And it's like such a mental thing. And all 4 days, I've had a 4+ pounder or multiple big fish late in the day in the last hour. And when I hook them, I say, okay, there it was. That good decisions. Okay, we're back on track. Not a top 10, maybe not a check, but I had a 5.5 at Rayburn on day 2, a 4 on day 1, multiple 4s on each in the last hour at Grand. And it was like, when I hooked them, I knew they were coming in the boat. There wasn't a, oh my God, stay on moment. There was a, man, I wish I had, I'm trying to think that's 100% mental, Darold. That is a mindset. That is something that is going on in your head. And I think that we struggle as anglers. And I also feel, because I talked to you a little bit on all these tournaments, I feel like you go back and forth with that too as well.
100%. And for 3 years on the elites, I was on the wrong side of that the whole time. Like it's almost like the fish can feel the tension. My last 3 tournaments, I just needed to do like just decent in some of those smallmouth derbies. And as soon as they touched my cricket and I set the hook, it's like they knew he's got to have me, but he can't. But it's hard to explain, dude. This is the magic sauce. If we could stay this way or teach others, we'd never get that way. But it's kind of like we talk about this all the time. We never draw early boat numbers. I drew an early number at Lake Norman. And a guy 2 boats ahead of me was fishing the same general area as me. He stopped a little shorter than where I wanted to go, so I ran by and started fishing, and boom, 2 on the first cast, a keeper on the next cast. I had a limit at 724. Boats were still taking off. That set up my whole day and my whole tournament because it freed me up to do some other crazy things. So it's hard to get in that state without some, we'll call it breaks going your way, but I believe in doing it. I don't think it's work or luck. I think you do a lot of good work and the luck starts happening. But I don't know. It's a huge mental thing. in this sport, and I think that even the 1%ers, there's mental aspects they go through as well, up and down. They're just so much better at fishing than we are that you don't see it. But for the majority of us, being in this state of mind is special. So it's fun, dude. It's like a perfect mix of coffee, Red Bull, Miller Lite, and a whole lot of desire. So, but I'm not flipping out. Like you said, like over my decision making right now, I'm not looking at like, well, if I do this and it don't work out, how will I feel? I'm just making the choices I feel like I can best live with, that best help me. You know, like my worst finish this year is at Sam Rayburn, a lake that I'm not really a local at Rayburn, but I fished there a lot in my career. My worst finish, but I still didn't trip out over it. I made the best finish I could. You know, it is what it is. And that's kind of how I'm rolling with it. It's none of it, the overthinking and all the worrying and all that kind of stuff and staring at points. This is the first time since 2019 that I am not staring at the points, because there's nothing you can do. You can't make the guy that's 30 points ahead of you. You can't control the outcome and make him go suck. And you can't move yourself up. All you can do is focus on having the best tournament you can that week based on your practice and the things you can control. That's all like we can focus on. So I don't know, Matt. Is there if there was like a way we could just turn it off, turn it on, we would.
Do you think? I know there's certain guys who have talked to like sports psychologists and work on the mental side of things and positivity and the. You think you did?
Yeah, after the Elite Series, I spoke with someone one time.
Have you talked about this? Did you mention this on the show?
No, I really didn't. I mean, me and my wife know I did it, but his best advice for me was to focus on like all your wins. And so like I created a little photo album. I call it the goods. And that's because, again, as competitors, I don't know if it's us men, I don't know what it is, but what do you think about more, Matt? The ones that you've lost or the ones that you get?
The ones that you've lost.
That cost you something. The ones, and we don't think about, you know, Toledo Bend when I won the Open here. I went out 7.5 pounds back to start the day, and I caught an 8-pounder in the first 10 minutes. And my mentality then, I turned to my co-angler and said, I'm now winning the tournament. I'm in the lead. I have to catch 4 that weighs more than their 5. That killer mentality has not, I don't know if it's because I'm not a super brash guy or whatever, but it was with me then and it's with me now. I don't know what turns it off and on, but yeah, I mean, some of the guys that do that, it's probably not for everybody talking with someone like that, but it just made me more aware of.
And one session helped.
Yeah, I probably could have done a few more, but I did the one. I think I did 2 sessions with him, but that was really based on was trying to find your wins. And the guy I spoke with, Dr. Z, I believe. I think he has a book out there. He worked with a lot of prominent athletes like Eli Manning, Super Bowl winner. So he knows his stuff. Super smart guy. And so he didn't understand a lot about fishing, but the sports competitor mentality. We do often think about the smallmouth you got your hands on that got away. And we think about all these. So, you know, at Grand, I scrapped out a check at Grand. That's normally a tournament I don't do well in. On day 1, I lost the fish at the boat. Like I swim it to the boat. It's like a 5-pounder, close to a 5-pounder. It gets away. That's normally a blah, and I went on about my day. Day 2, I went back to see if it was there, and it was. It was on a bed. And I'm like, oh, okay. I saw it one time, but didn't get to catch it. And so I went about my day, ended up with 4 keepers later in the day, 4 small ones. And I'm idling out. Me and you had just talked on the water.
You had 3 for 6.5 at the time. You said you were chill. You said, well, you weren't freaking out.
Yeah,
you were chill. You said, how's it going? I said, I got 14. You said, not good, Matthew. Yeah. You said, not good, but you were chill about it.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was the end of the world. I accept if I have a bad day, like life isn't going to end. But so I went in there and caught a 4th keeper, and I'm idling out of there, and the sun pops out. Now, I had no plan to go back to that bedfish because I need to go catch a 2-pounder, right? I need to go get 1 more and finish my limit. That's the mentality. But this mentality that I used to possess, it's still in there a little bit. There's a flicker. The sun pops out, and I said, go to that bedfish. It was about 5 miles away. If I catch that one, you're going to probably get paid. you're at least going to set yourself up for the rest of the day. Go to it. And it's a little bit of a risk to turn and run the other way and go look, hoping that one's there. So I did. And I went back to it, get it to bite pretty quick, break it off on the hook set. 20-pound fluoro. I probably have done that twice in the last 10 years. And instead of breaking all my stuff and freaking out or crying or any of that, I sat down, I pulled out a rod with braid on it and a reel with braid on it, and I stood up and looked over the edge of the dock, and it was already back on the bed. And I'm like, okay, that's your butt. So I sit down. I actually sit down and retied a fresh hook, put on a fresh rage bug, like stood up, and I caught that fish, almost a 5-pounder. There's something about that not thinking of the bad moments. Instead of me thinking, oh, I broke that one off, the one I lost yesterday, oh, poor me. There's something about that. How can I get through this moment? To where it seems like the more you do that, the luckier you get. And it was luck that fish went back and bit. It's luck that I caught it. It's luck that I caught 2 of my first casts. But it's something about mentally when you are focused on the goods. And that's what I titled my little folder. I got to add some stuff to my folder from this year. And I don't look at it often, but I find when I'm down a little bit or if I feel a little off, go back and look at some of your stuff that's important to you, some of your highlights. Like some of the stuff I have in there. Like it was special to me when I won at Toledo Bend. It was special when I qualified for the elites. Just to have some of those like positive things in your brain. Because
and I would assume everyone's folder is different. Some might be 100%. When I caught a limit on the last cast to come in with a limit, or 100%. Some might be when I won the club championship. Some might be
everyone's win in this is different based on where you're at with this. Jacob Wheeler wouldn't put anything about a top 10. You know what I mean? Like that's okay. But that ain't the measuring stick is not the point. The point is the positive mental aspect of this, that when you're out there on the water by yourself, making these decisions by yourself, living this life by yourself. Like I have the greatest sponsor portfolio, family, wife who goes, like I have all of that backing, but none of that matters because we're on the water by yourself at those times. It matters when you're off the water and you have those people to be there with you and celebrate or hug you when you need it. But on the water, you're alone. This is a very lonely sport. And I've been in the bottom and thought about every fish coming off or never getting another bite or how embarrassing it's going to be, as Jakobsen calls it, relegated off the elites. Man, all that sucks when it's on your mind. Mm-hmm. So why do we think about all that crap?
It's weird how it happens though. Like I said, that was where I wanted to have that conversation with you, which is something you would have off air, but it's a good conversation to have on air, is the difference between, I don't know how to, and I think that maybe what you're talking about is the good folder puts that in your head more to where you're like, oh my God, I blew my chance, and you don't feel like it's going to happen, and it hasn't happened, and you've blown 5 chances, and you're looking at it as, okay, well, it's going to happen in the last 2 hours now instead of the first 2. Would have been nice to just get that out of the way early, but I guess we're going to have to grind and figure out a way to make it happen. And you can't force those deep inner brain thoughts to be positive or be negative. But I think maybe kind of the answer that I've got out of this from what you've said is it's off the water work that unknowingly trickles its way into your psyche during those times where you've put in the work to where it's replaced with the positivity and the self-confidence instead of 100%. The doubt and the self-loathing.
Yeah, you're gonna, I mean, it's human nature. Okay, so at Norman on the last day, I haven't told anyone this. I didn't talk about it on stage because so many lucky things happened for me to have those kind of weeks. And I say lucky again, good fortune because you're doing the work. But on the last day, I had 4 fish about 12:30, and a fellow angler the day before, actually several guys, and even this is part of what builds you. It makes you feel part of the brotherhood and builds your confidence. On day 2, I'm waiting to get parked and weigh my fish. And 2 or 3 guys that had already weighed in and realized, hey, I'm not making the cut, are idling by me. And 2 or 3 different, it was actually 4 guys, but I won't say all their names. They may not want me to. But hey, dude, I know where a bedfish is, and this is totally legal.
Yeah, before
this happens, before the weigh-in is done. I've actually done it for buddies. I've jumped in their boats before and said, hey, here's where some trees they're biting on or whatever. But one of those guys said, hey, I know where 2 big ones are. I went and worked on them. I just needed more time. So I went to those fish on day. I would never do that either. That's so out of your plan. But going in the last day, I was just swinging, trying to win, you know. So I caught one of them. It was like a 3 1/4. I go down the bank. I catch another 3 1/4. That gives me 4 fish with 2 over 3, which is good at Norman. And I told my that wanker that was riding with me, BP, I said, if I can go back, if that big one shows up, if I see it and catch it, I've gave myself a chance to possibly win this thing. That would have gave me 5 fish with 2 small ones in the bag. So we went back to it, and it was there, and it was acting wild. But I'm honed in on the bed fishing game right now. I got my process of doing it, and dude, I finally get it to bite, set the hook, get it coming to the boat, and it's over 5, dude. It's a big one. It's a 5-pounder probably. And you know what I thought about? This creeps back into that to where you need to focus on the right stuff. At Grand, I lost that fish day 1 because I was fighting it around a little bit. I actually went on to catch that fish later, but that fish is coming in hot. I get it coming, and you got 1 split second to make this choice, and I said, come on in here, baby. And it had ate my lure so good, as I flipped it up, it cut my line on its teeth. It didn't even do the pop. And, of course, I reached for it, touched it, got my hands on it. And I just took 20 seconds later on the deck, got it all out. I'm so thankful there wasn't a live camera to catch that one. That sucked. Mm-hmm. But I knew then that my chance to win that tournament probably was gone at that moment. But I didn't beat myself up over my choice. You make that choice, like whether to flip a fish or run around with it, like you got a split second. I made the best choice in the moment and come off. Now, sure, I drove home all night that night. It was a 15-hour drive. I got here at 7 the next morning. I thought about that a lot on the way home, like, why didn't you get down, dummy? But it was a different mental conversation than putting on the boxing gloves and beating the crap out of myself. You get what I'm saying? It was more like, you know better than that. Come on, dude. Do the right thing. It's just a different aspect mentally that I'm really just trying to focus on. And it's all about the process, enjoying it all, being grateful for it all. And I'll be better. Like, again, I'm better now that I lost that fish. I went through that horrible moment. I'll be better prepared somewhere down the road. But you can't expect little bad outcomes to not occur, but at the same time expect to catch 2 fish on your first cast. It's the good with the bad, dude. And that's how life is. Like, what are you going to do? Like, it's no different in competition. So I just think accepting that those moments are going to happen. Like, okay, here's one for you, Matt. And we'll probably talk more about this off air, I'm sure, as the season goes on. But the way our format now, you got to, you fish your events, you make the EQs, then it's a 3-tournament heater. The way it used to be was it was an overall deal. And I'm sitting 3rd in points in the overall deal. Like, I know some guys
when we get to the EQs, you're going to be tied with me, and I'm in 4 tournaments, and right now I'm in the mid-30s.
You're tied with everybody, even
decisions, and I end up making the EQs. Doesn't matter that you fished 8 and have 600 more points than me.
It doesn't matter. It'll start over fresh, and that's going to be a new mental thing that you have to get over. I know some guys last year that tripped them up, man. It killed their season. They had great seasons and were super high in their points, and going to the EQs, when you look around, you're like, oh, this ain't fair. I understand that mentality more than anybody. When you look around, things like, this ain't fair. This happened, or we changed this, or we done this. This ain't fair. I just hope, like, guys, I know I don't have the strongest voice in the industry, but on this subject, I feel like I have a pretty good one. I've lived it all. Don't worry about what's not fair. There's guys that are working 72 hours a week that wishes they could come fish these tournaments with us, and it ain't fair that they can't. And it's not fair that Miles Berghoff's little girl went through what she went through, or our friend at Pro Guy Pate, what his son has went through. That stuff isn't fair. But they roll with it, right? Look at what they're doing in their lives, and look at what goes on. So I just think you can't look at life that way. And I'm guilty of looking at that crap and saying this ain't fair, not overcoming it. And I'm done with that, dude. I just am. For me to get back to the elites, for me to get back to the classic and do the things I want to do, I can't have that loser's mentality. I got to focus on all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So,
and it's wild. You look at the money, the time, the effort. Like, you look at that tournament, and like when you scroll down, you look at 194th, then you look all the way up to 1st, and every single one of those persons has a story of how they got there,
why they're there,
You know, it's
and there's a bunch of dudes we're
when you look
fishing
at
with
it.
now that like to me is cool. Like with some of the stuff that's went on in the industry, like we got some of the guys that's done awesome things on the elites, BPT. You got kids coming up. The mixture of guys we're getting to fish against now. Everyone's why is different, but it's the same.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I saw that. Guy Eaker. I mean, you're fishing here in line with the guy, and Guy Eaker was fishing this tournament. You had David Kilgore in there. You had, I mean,
it's just such a fun
Gary
mixture of
Klaus.
what we're going through now. Yeah, it was cool seeing Gary Klaus on day one. He come over to me, dude.
Alvin Shaw still
the
fishing.
Smile I had on day one, like I got to hug my buddy Teb, who he works the bonus bucks and Yamaha booth with me for Dynamic. We've done that for years in the Opens. One of the coolest photos I have is me and him hugging it out backstage when I won the Open. And we were both an early number on this. And of course, I got there and weighed in early on day one. I wanted to be in the lead for a minute. So I weighed in early. But I saw him on the walkway, dude. He wasn't mad that I had a great day. And he still had a good day. But that kind of brotherhood and all that stuff, like, I didn't have that experience a whole lot for 3 years on the elites. Like, I just didn't. And that's no fault of any of the guys out there at all. It's all me mentally, you know. But to be back feeling that way, dude, it feels great. And I don't mind. Hey, the kids call me Uncle DG and all that stuff. It's cool, dude. I don't care. That's all fun. Now, I think I told Nico, who I really like, Nico Romero, Texas.
Oh, he has smoked my ass out of the back of the boat last
so
2
good,
years ago in the Opens, and every time he was fighting one, he would apologize the whole way
He's
in.
So nice. He's such a nice kid. In practice, he pulled up like near me, and I was going one way, and he's going the other. He said, "Mr. Gleason, are you going to go fish these docks?" And I said,
"No, I'm going to go beat your ass for calling me Mr.
I actually
Gleason."
said, "You call me Mr. again, I'm going to beat your ass." Come on, dude. But I mean, that's the kids that were raised right, trying to be nice. I know, like when I started, I probably said Mr. to some guys, and they probably wanted to choke me, but I don't know. Like it's just it's fun times, dude.
Dude,
but
literally, I had 4 for 13 and a half.
Yeah.
He had, this was the last year of the co-anglers. He had like 3 for 14.
He crushed
and
on that
called 2 or 3 times. Yeah. And I have never had a co-angler who literally would wait and say, "Okay, Matt, what are you fishing? Do you mind if I cast into the abyss with this lure?" And I'm like, "Nico, you do whatever the hell you want, dude." I said, "I'm focused on this tree right here." I said, "You want to cast to the other side of the tree?" I said, "You're good, bro.
Right.
Like, you get it."
Yeah.
He would be like, "I am really sorry, but I've got another big one on right now." And at least it would jump and he would like, "Oh man, you could really use this one. This doesn't sit right with me." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And then he did the same thing. I know he did it with James one time. James was like, "I flipped to this ladder 4 times. Nico asked if I'm done with it." Yeah. James is like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can I cast in there, Mr. James?" Yeah. Absolutely. Cast in 4.5 pound spotted bass.
it's crazy. But I mean, again, like it's fun. And I feel like, some of us through the last few years, we haven't done a great job of relating to our young guys. Everyone's kind of hating on all the scope, non-scope crap. And that's why I don't get into all that stuff. I just don't like it. Like if the guys that were, when they come on, the guys that are out there now doing well, if they had been treated this way, you know, poorly and talked poorly about, they probably wouldn't love the sport as much. So my job at this point is to catch all the bass I can and do the things I personally want to do. But I want to well represent my sponsors and the people I work with in the sport and treat the old and the young with the respect they deserve, because all of us are working hard. Like whether you love the scope or don't love the scope, it's fine. Let's all treat each other with more respect and be positive. Like we can still want to beat each other. That's fine. Like it drove me nuts at Rayburn. You got me a little bit there. But that's the fun part of competition. And I don't know, like seeing some of the stuff Bass is doing, like the Tuesday night derb. Like I may go fish a Tuesday night or next week with a buddy, if he can get me off the golf course. But the competition is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be hate driven. And I think sometimes we fall into that aspect of all that negative crap. And I'm just not letting it. In my world, it's not allowed anymore. So
one of the things I want to talk to you about, you listen to BTL, you know I'm a big I like to cook. I consider myself an aficionado with a variety of different meats. I've recently tackled chicken because, you know, I feel like chicken is the easiest and most often used, but the hardest to get right.
I agree.
And I'm jealous of you because your sponsor portfolio includes a lot of sponsors that you incorporate them into you and Randy's lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think is why it works so well too. Like I said, right. I think everyone knows you're not a Jacob Wheeler where you're not winning, but you are able to give a lot more than just winning $17 million and 55 Angler of the Years. But one of the things that you got to do that I was very jealous of was you are sponsored by RecTech.
Yes. RecTech.
And that is okay. Yes. So if you don't know what RecTech pellet grills is, there's a lot of good pellet grills out there, but the pellet grill with it is the bull horns on it, and they have this silver bull horns that really cool. Come out. They're like kind of the Cadillac of the pellet grill world.
Yes.
You got to go to like RecTech Fest as a special guest.
Yeah.
In Georgia.
It was cool. So we pulled the truck and boat over there. You know, like I have all their emblems on my stuff. We've worked with them now for several years. And this festival they do, so it starts the morning off it's a scratch and dent sale. So like, you know, any products that have a scratch or dent, you can buy cheap. So like we got there and there's like a line, dude. I can't tell you, like they had cops there controlling traffic because people are there for the scratch and dent sale. And then the festival part, they had some of their special chefs and things like that there cooking and grilling and hanging out. They had all kinds of things for the kids to do. I set up a little casting booth. We had like a little hacky sack board, and I had some little Zepco rod and reel combos, and we were like doing casting stuff, but just kind of hanging out and being with everybody. And then they had some bands there playing, and of course smoked meats of all kinds there. But I figured out a long time ago in this, since I'm not Kevin Van Dam or Jacob Wheeler, but yet I want to work in this field and enjoy it. You got to find sponsors that are authentic to who you are and fit in your niche in life. And part of our niche right now is we travel around in an RV. And my wife has a social media company, and she does a bunch of that type work. So she's really good at that. Very eloquent, very pretty, works hard, great woman. I hope she cooks me.
She's sitting right next to you, isn't she?
She's in the room. Yeah, we're only 44 foot apart at all
smart
times.
Man.
So it's Cinco de Mayo. I really hope she makes me a margarita and cooks me a taco tonight. But no, I had to kind of find, and I do have great industry partners too, as well. But you have to find your niche to like fill those other voids to do this, because it is so expensive and all that stuff. But I enjoy getting to cook on my RecTech. It's not work when I go do a video about throwing some ribs on the grill, or sharing how we use our grill on the road. So that's a fun aspect of the job, is working with those different type companies. And I mean, who doesn't want to go to an event and eat smoked meats all day, listen to Edwin McCain, and then, sit there and work with kids. And, it was really cool too, how good some of those kids were at flipping a Zepco, the old little Matt, like the little shorty, like 4-foot Zepco combo, like some of those kids were like really good with it. It was really cool. But yeah, that's fun. I mean, like I love going to work the Classic for Dynamic and some of those other companies in the industry that we work with. But it's fun to go to these other events, and we went to the Tampa RV show this year.
Was that through Lumark?
Lumar and Lippert. Yeah, Lippert.
Lumar and Lippert.
Yeah, they do a lot of the components in the camping world, and then Lumar is their marine side. They have the Lumar shallow water anchors that I'm running on my boat. So yeah, it's fun to do some of those different things, dude. But it's like a good way to, why am I going to try to fight with all those guys who win more tournaments than me? Why am I going to fight over sponsor dollars for every one of them? I have a great portfolio of guys in the industry I get to work with. But even like Strike King and Lose, I don't work with them because they think I'm going to go dominate the tour. There's other aspects I think I bring to the table for them. And I'm grateful to work with all those companies. And I said on stage the other day, like, I'm not, like, I think the best guy at this in the sport is probably Bobby Lane. Bobby Lane can get on stage, like winning Red Crest, and he can recite every single sponsor he has. He can nail it. Running that Phoenix Yamaha, and he is so good at it.
Yeah, spider wire with the max set.
Yeah, he nails it. But in those moments when I get my moments on stage,
durable.
I'm in like this, like spaced out, like, oh my God, I'm at a top 10. This is the best day. I can't do it. But so what I always try to do is say thank you to all my sponsors, because they ride the roller coaster with me. I'm not I've never been a big changer of sponsors year to year. Like I have a lot of long-term folks and they ride the momentum with me up and down. Like they don't fire me. I don't catch them 3 times in a row.
Well, that's because you're living your life with your sponsors. You're not relying on your sponsors to live your life.
Yeah.
Big difference there.
Yeah. I have a relationship with them where I feel like they're all family and I feel it through, like, I heard you earlier talking about me doing Bass Track. I do that because my wife and friends and family keep up with that so close. I still don't understand why so many of the guys sandbag on Bass Track or don't do Bass Track. It moves your social media number so much during the day. And it gives my friend, Dr. Jesse Brandon, the vet, in between working on all of our little creatures we love so much, clicking Bass Track. It gives him something to keep up with. And a lot of my friendships aren't like everyone else's because we're on the road so much and you give up so much. You don't get to be with those people all the time that you want to be with. And the same with your family. You miss so many things. So to share what you're doing on the daily with them makes them be a part of it. And then when I come in at night and I'm exhausted dragging butt to read those comments, dude, it fills your cup like you're ready to go the next day. The Red Bull helps. But like my cup is filled reading those comments every day.
You tried the new one? I don't know how to say it. Sudachi.
Tiki Cherry. That's what I'm calling it.
No. This is the new one. This is a Suduki Live.
Oh, I did try that one too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm all in on so again, me trying to identify as a scoper. I'm wearing shorter shorts. I'm not quite to the 80s Voight softball shorts, but I'm wearing short shorts, pounding Red Bulls, ropes on my cap.
Yeah.
And look, I'm gonna spare the world. I ain't doing the flow. I mean I got to keep that tame. But yeah, I'm just.
You look like the dude from Deadliest Catch if you figure that out. He's
horrible.
Always at iCast. I can't remember his name now.
I know that long. I can't. I just don't possess that. I am bringing back this though. The caterpillars.
And that's the natural color in there. That's not the just for men salt and pepper mixture.
That's natural. But I've been told by my supervisor that the more it turns silver, that there's going to be conversations about a little
Burt Reynolds in there then. Burt Reynolds action. There's a lot of guys over the years who have done the RV thing. There's still some guys that do, but I can't tell you how many times you hear, man, I should just sell the house, start over, live out of the RV, travel around, whatever. Yeah. Like you and Randy have done that. Like you're at your house right now currently, or I mean, you've been what, 3-4 years since you sold your house to Overlook Toledo Bend?
2 years. We're on 2 years on Toledo Bend. We sold the house and did that. I wish we'd have done it when I first made the elites and turned pro, to be honest. Yeah, I really do. But it's fun. We don't have children. Our lives are a little different than most. She's able to work her job right here. I'm sitting at her desk, and my job takes me around the country. So we decided, why not? Why not? We had a great house on Toledo Bend. It was beautiful. It was our dream house. And but we were always rushing home to it. And there were other life experiences we were missing out on. So like this year, we spent 2 months in Florida. We wouldn't have done that before. So after, this is going to make you jealous too. After lacrosse coming up in June,
don't even
for my birthday, she bought me a round at Mammoth Dunes for me and her to go enjoy.
That's like a top 10 course, isn't it?
It's special, special stuff. So, but those experiences, we did some cool stuff when we were on the road and we had the house. But now it frees you up to do different stuff,
How do you get mail? I've always wondered that.
My home address is my mother-in-law's home in Slagle, Louisiana, and that's where mail comes. And she has a drawer, and she piles it in there for me. And when we come home, we go get our mail. Or if she comes to the event, she brings us our mail. It's different. Now, we are looking for land. We are wanting to put a little root down, build a little smaller home, have a land.
You got 8 acres behind the house right now.
I don't know if Shawnee, Oklahoma's going to be the destination.
I got a tornado shelter that could comfortably fit 6 adults and 4 dogs.
Now you're talking. And how about, hey, we did survive Alabama and Oklahoma this year. No nadir warnings. I never had to go hide in a bathroom or a tornado shelter. So
have you ever just ended up just staying in a place that you had no intention of staying, just an extra week or two?
Yeah, we've done it a few times. It's still hard to break ourselves with the old routine of all right, time to go home. And a lot of times
just
it's because
Toledo area.
Yeah, around Toledo area and all that stuff. But yeah, we've done it a few times where like after we sold our house, it was going to rain the next week. And I was like, well, it's not going to rain over here in Florida. Why don't we go to Destin? And that was like in November. It ain't the most beautiful time to be there. But I'm like, well, if we're going to pay for a RV spot somewhere, let's go to Destin for a week. Yeah. So it does free you up a little bit. But I tell you, like our calendar feels, it's filled around bass tournaments, our niece's rodeos. We always go to her big national rodeo every year, like if it fits in her schedule. And then like my wife, she works some events in different counties and things. So our travels are built around our work schedule, but we're able to blend in. Like this year, going to the Keys, that was fun. I feel like we're kind of living the dream life now, kind of like living the retirement as we still work. Mm-hmm. So we're blessed for that though, dude. Like not everybody can do that. I understand.
Let me ask you this. Social media, YouTube, on-demand stuff, subscription, like you can literally live tournament fishing and bass fishing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You could watch thousands of hours of past tournaments. I mean, it was back in the day, it was you got the rerun of the Bassmaster show, the FLW show, and 2 magazines. In Fisherman would maybe run a bass, you maybe get something in Field and Stream, but what was out there you could digest in a day and a half, and then it was whatever your experience on the water. You're one of the guys who has an outside the industry passion, like big time for golf. Like when it's golf time, you fish your golfing club stuff, like you get. Do you think it's been healthy for you, and are you able to completely get the tournament fishing, the grind, the catching bass out of your mind and focus on the golf course? And do you think that has helped you become a better angler in the long run in having something that takes your focus away from, like, I mean, I'm 24/7 fishing, dude. Like I realized it, like everything I do, even when I'm not doing it, is doing it. Yeah.
Well, I had to find some balance. Like my first year or so on the elites, I was still guiding a bunch at home and doing all that. And I've laid off that the last few years. It's a little different probably for each person. So being 24/7 at it, I know that life. Like I lived it. Like when I first quit my teaching job and all that, for 6 years, I never swung a golf club. I was 300 days a year on the water, guiding tournaments, all in. So I'll say this, my reflection on that. Going at it 24/7 is so awesome when you're on a heater. When you're on the opposite end of that, it sucks. And like my last year on the elites, we did a little vacation with some of the other campers, the Jacobsons and Palaniuk and Swindle and Zaldanes. We all went for between events, 1 week off to Lake George. We can talk about Lake George now because there's going to be a national event there this year. But Lake George is a cool lake.
I've fished it multiple times. It's
really awesome. Sorry, Jody. Get over it, okay? It's out there. But so we go there for this fun vacation week. And I'm 24/7 in. I am at max stress capacity trying to make sure that I learn all I can that week on Lake George to help me in those smallmouth tournaments. And that week, dude, I hardly had fun with anybody, dude. I grinded my tail. They all went and fished together, had fun with each other. They even invited me to go. I was like, nah, Brandon Palaniuk, I don't want to go in the boat with you. I need to go do my thing. How stupid is that? But now I find a balance for me, and it's on my mind. Like I ordered a ton of Strike King crankbaits yesterday, preparing for our next event, praying that I get to use those. So each morning I'm doing a few things for fishing. I'm watching some YouTube videos. I'm doing a little research on some lakes coming up. But that balance of like, the guys texting me right now for our tea time today, like it does allow me to turn away from it a little bit, but it's still there. I mean, it ain't turned off, but that deflection is nice. Now I'm still competing. Golf is fun. I love it. It's a lot of competition out there, but it is a great release for me. And I needed that. The 24/7 aspect of it over so many years mentally, I could tell would like just wear me down some. And now I feel when it's go time, like leading up to an event, like we have Kentucky Lake in less than 2 weeks. I like segment it where I'm going to do some work today and think about it. I'm going to order some stuff. I'm working on my tackle, my boat. Like I'm doing all those things, but it's not that like just grinding. So I have found it helps me. I think other anglers are probably different. I know a lot of the young guys, it's fish all they can because they're soaking up so much knowledge right now. So it's probably different where they're at in their career. But I don't think like Scroggins and Rumbanis and some of those other elderly statesmen that's doing the Opens with us right now, I don't think they're out there daylight to dark every single day like they were 20 years ago. It's just a different stage in your life. And I do think that's where some of the divide come with all the scope stuff is
as it should be.
It should be. They're really good at it, and they're donating so much of their time. Where a lot of us want to go to the golf course, or we want to go hunting in the off season, or spend time with family, or be with your grandkids, or travel with your wife. Like that's all life choices that we've made. We all like my full-time job is fishing, and I can go out every day and fish all I want to. No one's going to stop me from doing it. I just have tried to find the balance that makes me happy and makes me compete my best. And right now that's where I'm at with it. I'm going to play golf a little while we're at home. I am going to go on Toledo Bend and beat on a few when it feels right the next few days. And but I probably won't boat flip any over 5 pounds. I'm going to make myself get down and lip them because that one at Norman was such a snafu that
I don't think you did anything wrong on that, dude. Like I haven't lost many the last couple of years. I went through one of those, oh my God, please don't be big because it's going to come off. And the biggest thing, it was Rick Clunn on Trade and Chris's show, Chris and Trade show.
No, you said it right. I watched that the other night when I was coming back to North Carolina. Their latest, and it's cool they're doing that again. They do a good job.
With Polinick, that's a fantastic one. I watched that whole thing. I watched
that from. I stopped at a Love truck stop at 3:00, slept for 45 minutes on my sweatshirt in my Tundra. And then I needed a little boost. So I watched that on the way home. Good conversation.
Yeah. Fantastic. But Rick Clunn was on it. He said, keep the hook point moving towards the boat.
Yes.
Keep the point of the hook. And ever since I've said that, like if you watch my last videos, everything, like even when it's with a minnow, I would rather I mean, granted, you hook those giants, you can't help when they take off. But the more you can keep that fish's head coming towards the boat, and you're the one that's dictating the fight, the less that come off.
I agree, and if I had to do that
100% of the time,
I do it 100 more times, 98 of the times. The momentum of that fish as I went to lift it because it come in hot. It's just and again, it was do I run around the boat with him and try to wear him out, or trust my equipment? I have great fishing line, rods, all that. And so I took my shot. Most of the time, the momentum of you doing it, if they come off, it's in the air and fall in the boat, So, but again, I wouldn't say I just had the wrong outcome. I don't necessarily do the wrong thing. Just that time something went wrong. Somewhere down the road, it'll balance. Or maybe it already has. I've caught several fish this year I shouldn't have. So I see a guy in the comments said, what rod do I keep in my golf bag to catch those pond giants? That's really funny. Tim Frederick, Tim from Florida?
Yeah.
Love Tim.
I mean, I don't know personally. I know Tim. I know he's a nice guy.
He plays golf. Big boy. He's the only ambidextrous golfer I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
I never know if he's going to hit right. He carries both sets, like a few of each. He'll drive left-handed and hit.
Is that legal? Can you do that?
And he can do what he wants to.
Well, I mean, like if PGA,
bigger than me.
Can you throw left-handed clubbing?
As long as you're under 14 clubs, I think you can. Yeah, but he carries a little. And that boy's ate up with it. If we're in Florida and they're spawning, he has a little swim jig on there. He runs over and catch a few. It's fun. Like I played with him a few times in Florida, him and his brother, and he would bust out his rod and run over to the pond and catch a few. So it was cool. Now, maybe I need to start carrying, like I need Falcon to make me a telescoping one to carry, because one of the places I was at in Florida, I was having a conversation with the GM at the course, and he was like, "Did you bring a rod? Would you love to go fishing?" And I'm like,
"Oh, no way."
And I didn't have one because they usually don't want you fishing. They want to keep pace of play up. And I was like, crap. So next time we're in Florida, I might venture.
I was down at Florida pond at the Grasslands.
Okay.
Andy Bean, I believe, has passed away.
Yeah.
Several years ago. But I got out on the golf course with Bobby Lane and Andy Bean. He's good friends with Andy Bean. Runner up in a major to a couple guys, long time pro.
Yeah, great.
And we
great
did
pro.
the Line Link show. I just found this on a drive from 2018, and I'm gonna rebrand it. But I drilled a hole through a golf ball. Bobby Lane had a spinning rod and a bait caster. We played 6 holes. Andy Bean, PGA senior tour member, played straight up regular. Bobby Lane cast a spinning rod with the golf ball attached to it, would drive, would flip, would putt. It was called Line Links, Rod and
That's
Reel
cool.
versus
Yeah.
Andy Bean, 6 holes. And we put it out on Vimeo at the time because back when that came, YouTube, all it did was take away website views. It wasn't ever going to be a thing, but I came across it and I need to re-upload it. That was a really cool thing. Bobby Lane was shockingly good at casting a golf ball. It was like it came down to like 2 strokes.
I hadn't got
Andy
to play
Bean
with
and
Bobby yet,
Lane.
but I hear Bobby and Chris both. And at the Ultimate Angler Championship last year, we did like a celebrity pro-am thing. I was there helping cover the event because I didn't qualify. And I played in a little golf tournament. They were there. And I think it's Chris's son is really good.
Really?
Chris or Bobby won. One of their boys was.
Yeah. You know who I want to play with is Lucas, because his
I never got to play with him. Yeah.
His brother
Plus,
was on the
Lucas
mini
is
tours
just
and
so
played
good
a
at
couple
everything.
major.
I would love to just mop him up on the golf course because he's so good at fishing and he's so pretty and well spoken. I would just love to go dominate Lucas on the course for a day.
I know he plays. I don't know how much he plays, but I know his brother. He said, like, dude, he said it's amazing how good you get when you get the right instructions from a guy who knows what's going on. He can
his brother played the U.S. Open one year, I think.
Yeah, his brother played in the U.S. Open, played a number of qualified for a number of tour events. Was on the what is it called now?
Probably the Corn Ferry.
Yeah, it was right before it was the Corn Ferry Tour.
That's kind of like our Opens. It's like the one before. My wife's gonna be so pissed.
We
were doing so good. Man, we weren't talking about golf, and you did this. She's gonna be.
What time is your tee time, Daryl?
10:50. We're going.
Okay, I'll let you go. You got to go get loosened up in your old age now. I mean, you got to get some swings in. You got to get a little bit of libations for the joints.
I have a TENS unit on my shoulder every day. I've been working on since last week. Can I show my bruise?
Yeah.
Did we tell the story about the coalfish or
no? But like I said, you got a 10:50 tee time. It's 9:47, so it's up to you. But if you want to tell that story,
I'll hide the booby bruise. I'm going to tell real quick. I'll give you the.
Oh, that looks painful. That looks like a frog hook set bruise.
Most people get it from hook sets, but I'm going to tell this real fast and then we'll go. Okay. So everything going right in your life, being positive. Day one, I got a limit. I go to look at a bedfish. It's not there, but I end up catching a 4-pound largemouth. All right, and it's coal time. So I put that in the boat. I get out what I think's my 2 smallest fish. I turn around to close a live well, and one goes, woo, into the water. Coal tag still in his mouth, my little TX Marine clip. It never touched carpet. It was an amazing feat. When it does this, I think this is a fish that I want to keep. I don't think this is my coal fish, right? So the 2 that I'd set out to put on the coal beam, I set them back in the live real quick, and I'm like, let me call Hank, see what I got to do here. Make no cast, nothing. I call Hank immediately. He's like, let me confirm. I'm like, what's the protocol? So he calls back, and I'm just literally like, I'm scared to even like troll, look, or move.
Just frozen.
I'm just like standing there, and I see the little buoy come up a few times, and it'd go down slow, and it'd come up.
Like,
and he calls back.
The whales.
Yeah, he calls back with his ruling, and he's like, if you can get it by hand, that fish is legal. But once you make a cast, that fish is considered cold. It's done. So I'm like, okay, cool. Hang up the phone. Here it comes. Out in front of me. Get on my trolling motor. Boy, that Garmin trolling motor is so quiet. Eased up there. And I got 10 or so feet. I had a little momentum going at it. And I just let myself cruise up. And I dove down. Because, a lot of times when you get them out of your live well, you'll pull the clip off when you grab them. So I real fast, like, whoop, and just threw it in the boat. Dude, I was pumped. I was jacked. I was, wow.
So now you've got 6 back in the boat.
So now I can go through my culling process, and I ended up culling that fish. I went through all that, got the bruise, all that stress, and that's the one I culled. When I put them all on the beam, that was my smallest fish. But I did get one of
those wildest stories that you would never.
So wild, and I never thought. I didn't know the legalities of what you could do or not.
Because that fish had been back, but you hadn't made a cast, but you're still in the process. That's the smartest thing. And the veterans know this. The smartest thing you could ever do in any instance of any Bassmaster Open tournament where anything crosses your mind.
They want to be bugged. Call. If it's anything questionable. I called him at Grand Lake because I threw a spinnerbait up on the bank and got stuck behind a cable. So I called and said, can I go retrieve this bait? I don't know these stuff. You don't deal with that often. So I went and got my bait back. I didn't want to lose it. It was a good Strike King little finesse compact spinnerbait. Only had one of them left, and I didn't want to lose it. So, anyways, that's it. Thank you for having me on, Matt.
That's fair. What are we shooting today? Is it? Are we doing a head to head? Is it a?
We got there's 4 of us going. We'll probably do a little cart on cart Nassau type game.
What does that involve?
It's just best ball between. It's like
like your cart versus there. So best ball.
It's a best ball 2-on-2 deal. We'll do that for chump change. Usually we don't even exchange money. We want them to know we dominated them. Me and Clay Henry will probably take on Randy Walker and Larry Hadaway in a battle of the Titans. If I shoot over 78, I'll be pissed.
You're the club champ, right? Reigning club champ?
For now. We got
reigning and defending, or just reigning? Is it 2 years in a row?
2 years in a row, but we got okay, some of these guys are really good to play with too. But we have a young prodigy there now. One of them young scopers, wears short shorts, 13 years old. No, but it's all Scotty Cameron, all Titleist. He hits it 40 yards by all of us.
Is he gunning for you? Like, are you the guy
he's
that
already
he
beat
like?
Me once.
He's like, hey, I'm going after Darold.
No, I played him one day and I shot good. I shot a 74 and he beat me. So Liam Ross is his name, little prodigy. We have a deal to where it's going to coincide as he turns pro. I'll be ending my fishing portion of my career, and he's going to let me caddy for him.
You think he's got a shot?
He will probably be good enough. He's going to play Division I golf somewhere. But how golf fits in. Yes, he's got all the shot in the world. The kid is really good, but who knows how it's going to work out. But it's fun. It's fun playing with him and the other guys I play with, because we just have a good time cut loose. So that's how today's going to go. It'll be fun.
All right. Well, best of luck.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate you having me
on.
Looking forward to seeing you at Kentucky.
See you at Kentucky. Maybe you'll find a magic spot like you did last time where you're like, I don't know where to go, but every time I go back here, I catch 2 4.5-pound smallmouth. So I'll just stay there all day, and it worked.
Who knows? That's the goal. But I will say, if I don't find it, it's okay. Life's good, man.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Darold.
All right, bud. Appreciate you.
All right, there you go. Darold Gleason will take our final break of the show. When we come back, I said we're going to run through what we have going on the rest of the week, which is a lot, including some on-the-water stuff with Mark Jeffries. It's BTL on a Tuesday. We'll be back right after this.
As a professional angler, there's only one thing that connects you to your paycheck. Probably the most crucial part to tournament bass fishing. I use Sunline because they have a line for every application. Shooter, FX2, All Might, super light line, big stuff, big sticks. Sunline has you covered.
Sharp as can be. Super strong, super durable.
Really good penetration.
Thinner and stronger.
Catch fish after fish.
I want to make sure that I'm using the best stuff possible.
World's finest hook.
World's finest hook.
Gamakatsu, world's finest hook.
Hey guys, Brian Schmidt here with Spro. I'm going to talk to you about the confidence I have in the equipment I use. I have a charter boat business back home in Maryland. We fish for saltwater fish, and I also fish the Bassmasters Elite Series. So I keep my lights on by fishing. I have to have a lot of confidence in the equipment I use. Spro has me covered from head to toe, saltwater, freshwater, everything in between. A lot of high-end quality product. Spro has you covered.
Pro Bass Adventures is reinventing Mexico bass fishing. With boats equipped with 12-inch Garmin units and LiveScope Plus, free loaner fishing rods, and no-cost airport transportation, Pro Bass Adventures is proudly putting you in the best position for success. Pro Bass Adventures has lodges on Lake Baccarat and Lake El Salto, Mexico's 2 best trophy largemouth bass lakes. Visit probassadventures.com or email probassadventures@gmail.com. The official Mexico fishing lodge of Bass Talk Live.
I fish in some of the worst elements across the country. Spring, that's a giant, dude. Summer, oh my gosh. Hi, look at that thing. Winter, it's so cold. And fall, got a big one, that's awesome. Being comfortable and staying dry is the only option. AFCO, any fish, any water.
All right, welcome back. BTL on a Tuesday. Tomorrow, a video BTL, similar to like what we did with Randy on the water. I got to go out with Wyatt Burkhalter, who blew away the Open at Grand. Good buddies with Justin, childhood friends with Justin Hamner. Dude is from Alabama, has a hell of a story. And I got to spend some time on the water the day after the Bassmaster Open on Grand. We did a lot of interview, his backstory, behind the scenes. Really cool dude, works his butt off and incredibly talented on the water. So if you're listening to the MP3 version of that, it's kind of one of those where you'll be like, oh, they're on the water fishing. If you're not, you'll get to see. And we also caught him. I thought we fished a tournament last Sunday on Grand the day after he won the Open. He was all jacked up, and we thought we had missed a check because they paid like 1 in 6, and there were 100 boats, and we finished 20th. But I guess there were some boats that zeroed. Anyway, we ended up getting a check in that event. So I broke my streak of first out of the money. $300 entry fee. 20th place paid $175. So for those who say you can't get rich fishing, there you go. That was only $150 loss after all of that. And then tomorrow afternoon, headed up to Table Rock, staying in a cabin with Mark Jeffries for 3 days, fishing Thursday, Friday, the Pro Guide Hope Classic. You can still fish this tournament if you want to jump in at Table Rock Lake. It is Paige Shoemaker, the guys at Pro Guide, a lot of the sponsors have jumped in. I think it's a $250 entry fee. You have to raise $250 for St. Jude to be eligible for the Bass Cat Yamaha boat drawing that's going to take place on that Friday evening. This is a 100% payback tournament, but you can also have like 3 guys in the boat. So if you want to have like you, your buddy, and your kid, or your wife and your kid, or whatever, like it's one of those. Pro Guide Hope Classic. Look it up if you're looking for something to do on Saturday. You can register all the way through Friday for this. A lot of teams have been fundraising and things. They hit their goals on that. But I talked to Pate. I said, anything I can do to help. He said, let people know that if they want to jump in on this at Table Rock, raise some money for St. Jude, be a part of it, be a part of the first annual Hope Classic, that you can jump in the Hope Classic. I'll be there. Jeffries will be there. Pete Wenners. I don't know if Brian Snowden. I think maybe Brian Snowden, Jeremy Lawyer, Matt Looney from Bass Cat, Kevin Rogers. There's going to be a bunch of guys there. You can come say hi, fish, get a chance. I already told Mark, I said, it looks like it might rain an inch. I said, I just got done with the spinnerbait derb. I was like, I know we were kind of planning on scoping and looking at that. I said, any places we can run up like the King, up any of the rivers there, maybe get on like a little rock spinner? He's like, oh, absolutely. He goes, then we can go throw some Carolina rigs on rock piles for post spawners. And I said, okay, we're going to scope, we're going to glide, we're going to minnow some. I said, but let's see if we can't get on a blade bite. We'll do some interviews with Mark Jeffries and the whole thing. So really appreciate it. And then I think we're back for a week, and that'll be regular BTLs. Then we're on the road for Kentucky Lake, and then I may be headed out of state the following week, and then it's June. But a lot of cool stuff. If you're not subscribed to BTL, subscribe, and then click your notifications on, even if you just do it for this week. I understand you don't want to have a ding, BTL is live, but if you want to catch Mark Jeffries and myself live on the water, you have no idea what's going to go down there. There's a chance there may not be a replay about it, because when we go at it, but he's pumped about it. Live on the water Thursday, Friday, maybe even a little bit Saturday. We're definitely going to have the cameras rolling for that, and you can watch us fish on Table Rock. I know the Elite Series is going on Lake Murray. We filmed the Open Pros Pick'em, or the Fantasy Bass Draft with Castledine and Ish and Upshaw over on Andrew Upshaw's channel. That goes live this morning. Britt Myers was the guest picker on that. That was kind of a debacle of a show, which is what they always are. Todd walked off at the end, spoiler alert, but go watch that. And other than that, I think that's all we got for today. Big shout out to Darold. I know he was pushing it tight. It hit his old age. Takes him a little while to warm up, get those muscles loose. But I've golfed with Darold Gleason, and he strikes the ball pure with regularity and consistency. He's one of those swings where like you watch him swing, even if he's like 2-3 holes away or just on the range, and you're like, oh, this guy's like a scratch golfer. So that's all we got for today. Thanks again for all the BTL listeners and viewers for the support of St. Jude. It actually makes a big difference in people's lives. So we'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Wyatt Burkhalter video coming out tomorrow morning. We'll talk to everyone then. Tonight, though, we are doing Frank Scalish live tonight. So if you're a fan of day 4, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Central time, Frank will be on live. So there won't be a show Thursday because I'll be on the water with Mark. So we're just going to replace it for that. So if you like to listen to day 4 and listen to the replay of this before tonight, May 5th, I really spaghetti jumbled the ending of this show, but we'll get through it. You could jump on and talk to Frank live tonight. All right, we'll talk to everybody later tonight, then tomorrow, then on the water with Mark Jeffries. BTL, later.